Hey, everybody. I'm Dr. Seth, clinical psychologist, Dr. Seth Meyers. And just a couple of things. First of all, I don't think my hair could be any higher today. And you know what's funny? Not even any product in it. It's like it just wants to reach the stars. Anyhow, today I'm going to talk about something that actually got triggered by my own TV viewing habits. And that includes going down the rabbit hole and watching on Amazon Prime the old soap opera Dallas. Remember the old soap opera Dallas? It played in the 70s and 80s for those of you who watched that. There was also another iteration that came many years later. And anyhow, in this show, one of the central plot points of the entire many years long series is this battle between the two brothers, JR and Bobby. And it got me thinking about working together, family members who work together, often in a family business. And then I started thinking from that about friendships, working together with friends. And specifically, I started to think about the experience of friends going into business together, friends starting out a business together. Now, a lot of times there's obvious reasons why that's a good idea, right? With a friend, there's trust, you know each other, you understand how you communicate and so forth. So there's lots of reasons to do it. Plus, it's your friend. You like your friend. There's a lot of good reasons why. And yet, what a lot of friends find after they go into business together is, you guessed it, there are some challenges as a result of being friends. When you think about just going into a work situation, usually you don't know the people that you're working with, and maybe you like some and maybe you don't really like so many others, but there's not this history and all these expectations, these social expectations that you have for how the other person will be, how they will treat you, how you will treat them, etc. What happens a lot of times when friends end up starting a business together is that they end up in situations that they have never been in before because their friendship didn't include those elements. So there are things like division of responsibilities. There are inevitable conflicts that may come up, tensions that can come up. Now, the question is, well, how do two friends communicate? I would suggest, of course, that it would be a better idea for people, if they're going to go into business with a friend, to have open communication where each can communicate to the other well. But the thing is, friendship is very different. The needs for communication in a friendship than the needs for communication in a business together. And so, what happens is a lot of times friends who end up working together in a business find themselves in situations where there are needs to communicate about the types of things they never had the reason to communicate in those ways before. One good example is conflict. How do two friends together, how do they communicate about conflict? Is each comfortable with conflict? Does each go to the other and talk about their feelings? Or when there are conflicts avoided? In addition, when things happen in a working relationship where one person may feel angry or one person may feel hurt for some reason, what is the tendency to do? Will that person be mean and say hurtful things? Will that person punish in passive aggressive ways? Will that person sort of snub the other and choose to not really see them as much? What's important is how a person manages conflict, how a person handles a relationship when things maybe don't go the way each would like in the business and then also in the friendship. Overall, as a psychologist, what I would say with 20 years of experience doing this kind of work is that there may be exceptions to the rule, that maybe it can work in some cases, but in a lot of cases, it won't work. Take, for example, long distance relationships. It's a totally different issue. I recently did a video on that. Can long distance relationships work well? Well, it's the same kind of thing. There are cases, of course, in which, yes, long distance relationships can work. There are exceptions to every rule, but a lot of times the challenges will be too difficult for a lot of people in a long distance relationship to make it work. Same thing probably applies to the situation of two friends going into business together. It can work. Sometimes it does work, but a lot of times it also doesn't work. And in fact, what happens to those friendships? Are the friendships damaged? Well, if things don't go according to how everybody had initially planned and hoped in the business, it can certainly take a toll on the friendship. In fact, I would argue that most friendships may change as a result of a business not working out. Now, the question is, what will happen to the friendship? Will the friendship survive? Will the friendship survive just as strong? Or will there be damage to the friendship? A lot of times, though, in friendships, after things don't go according to the way that everybody had initially planned in the business or really hoped, a lot of times things go undiscussed. Issues don't get worked through. Maybe one or both members are uncomfortable dealing with conflict. Maybe each person is disappointed and unhappy and upset, but really doesn't want to talk about it. My hope for any friends, it could be a couple of friends or a group of friends who go into business together. My hope is that that business is successful, that that business thrives, and that the friendships are strong and can withstand some of the challenges that inevitably befall any new enterprise or business. For those of you who have a situation where you start a business with someone and it doesn't go according to plan, my hope is that the friendship can remain. Friendships are very delicate, and if they're not properly fed and attended to and really cared for and nourished, they can slip away. Sometimes when we go back to those friendships, there may not be enough left to restart it. These are some of the realities of friendships and going into business together. Well, I hope this video has been helpful. And you can also check out my podcast, same title as my YouTube channel, Insight with Dr. Seth, where I go deeper on a lot of these issues and also conduct interviews on the life issues and topics that matter most to you: friendships, relationships, work, all the stuff that keeps us going. Have a good one, everybody.